little bit about what HellRaisers like to do with this Techies and what makes it a special hero for Zayak?
Well, Zayat's, he is. I mean, I would argue this might be a bit of an overstatement according to some people, but might be the best Techies competitive player in the world right now. There are a couple of other people that do well with him, but like for example, Tio Licor is also a well-known Techies player. I believe that Xing Xing also plays it, but Techies is just his bread and butter. What they do is insane amount of area denial. He just controls the map. Like this is the guy who will go and buy like I kid you not 10 clarities and buy sentries and just take over the whole map with the techies, make it impossible for the enemy team to play. You know all those memes that people say about like why they hate techies? Oh, I can't play my game. That's what Zayats does, but in a competitive state, you know. And it's kind of insane to watch him play. The hero is also pretty decent in the lane if you go for blast off. So usually he plays quite aggressive in the lane, harassment. He'll tend to commit suicide as well. But what really stands out to me is his mind placements and the way he plays the mid game. It's just a wonder to be seen. If you want to learn about map control, genuinely, just watch this game or the last Techies game he played because he'll teach you how to do it.
We've also got another signature hero coming out here. Team Empire picking up the Invoker for Depressed Kid, which is what we saw him play in Game 1 to such success. But if anyone has not been following these qualifiers across and through the bracket, what you won't know is that this Techies is what partially eliminated Na'Vi with a Game 1 victory for Team Empire against Na'Vi there. And that was a game that lasted not that long. It wasn't it was a long game. It was a 50-minute game, but the Techies was always on the front foot and Na'Vi didn't even GG out. They were so frustrated. So this, if Team Empire lose against this Techies, is going to be one of the most frustrating moments in their careers. A TI10 qualifier elimination to a Techies is 2 pain points there. So either way, this is going to be a dramatic and hefty end, with HellRaisers picking up that TA that we've seen so much of this qualifier. Are you liking this draft so far from HellRaisers, Richie?
Yeah, definitely. I like this pick with the axe. It gives you some control, gives you a lot of kill threat. Luna's going to need to mind the gap quite a bit. Otherwise, if a call connects, I mean, you know what's coming next. It ain't going to be a hefty phone bill. It's going to be a big old Techies blast off, a nuke damage to get through all of that, or the lack of HP that Luna has in the laning stage. The young GTA might suffer a little bit here eventually in the late game versus the Luna, but it's great for the laning stage, and the Invoker's not going to be able to do much about it. And something I do want to talk about is even though we do have this Depressed Kid Invoker, he plays Quaswex. He's a great rotating Invoker. Super hard to do when you have one of the biggest, probably the best map deniers in the entire game being the Techies, right? He's not going to be able to just look to cut people off in these engagements. He can't just go behind towers because he's got to be mindful of all these, well, mines that Zayat is going to be placing down. It's a real issue here for his playstyle.
Let's talk a little about Team Empire, Avro. Depressed Kid Invoker, the Smiling Knight Luna, these are signature heroes, and they've also managed to get the Vanscore Enchantress, which is another hero that he's very happy to play. It's his most played hero in 7.29. So while HellRaisers may be on their signature techies, I think Team Empire have so far got signed on the end of this contract at least 3 times. Would you agree?
Yeah, I like this Empire draft too. I think it's a pretty solid draft because Invoker is the buff for the Luna, right, with the Alacrity, which allows Luna to be the hardest carry in the world. And pretty much, honestly, win 1v5. You have strong lanes with the Enchantress and Clockwork, which is a good solution to the Techies because that means you don't have to rotate as much early to mitigate the impact of weak lanes. Because you usually fix weak lanes with rotations. Not the case if Enchantress is just kicking you out of the lane. You even have the creep from Enchantress to be able to deal with the mines themselves or demine with the creep because, I mean, you don't give extra gold for that, right? And it has an insane amount of HP. And Clockwork for the vision. So it's actually a pretty good lineup against what HellRaisers is doing. And I think this is the best solution by HellRaisers.
Oh, yeah, the Wraith King against that Luna is very effective. But Team Empire are going to pick up a Timbersaw. So that's very good against that Wraith King as well. These are good drafts for both teams, I think. This is going to be a good elimination game. Would you agree?
100%. I think the Timbersaw pick is awesome. I love Techies, so I want to side with him, but at the same time, Empire, that Timbersaw pick, that's a Petushara staple and an incredible pick against Wraith King and Axe. Also good at hunting down the Lina, which is going to be a support this game, and the Templar actually takes away refraction charges. Pretty solid. Really like the draft too.
Richie, how about you?
Yeah, this early game is going to be really crucial for Zayat because if they can't, you know, establish kind of like a safe space that for Techies by planting all the mines and basically deny access to a part of the map, Empire, they're going to be able to chip away, whether it's going to be through throwing creep at it, rocket flaring, walking up, and then throwing spears at mines to make sure you can get rid of them. Hell, Petishar at some stage might just be tanky enough to just timber chain through, chakram the trees down, and cut down mines himself. But that's only if we can get the start that we need for Empire. I think these lanes are absolutely crucial for them, and they've given themselves a draft that, in my opinion, is pretty darn strong. Real quick, it is Seiyu on the Ench and not Vanscore, interestingly enough.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're running the 4-inch. So this is just
it's better
something
for
that I'm
lanes.
still thinking. I think for lanes, right?
Yeah, because Clock is better against, or Clock is really solid against Axe, Ench sometimes struggles depending, and Ench is going to deny the Wraith King completely, right? Especially if it's like Lina 5, which is looking like for HellRaisers. That's the case. Ench is one of the few heroes that can kind of trade evenly with her and even beat her. So I like this. It's a good lane swap. They acknowledge, as we said, you need to win the lanes.
Okay. Well, will Team Empire's enchanting draft run like clockwork, or will they self-destruct against HellRaisers Techies, who are reincarnating following their fall from grace from the upper bracket back into the grand finals? We'll know all, and we'll know our grand finalists right after this game. I'm handing over to Avo and Richie to take us through this game.
Yeah, let's blast off right into this game, man. Let's get this one going. I can't wait. It's a best of 3. All comes down to this. Of course, you're not directly to TI after, right? We're still one step away from the dream, and the gatekeepers at this stage, being Team Spirit, are definitely no joke here either. It's going to be pretty crucial here, Avo. Explosive game, but I'd not want to go any other way here for game number 3.
Look, the Gatekeepers have something against them, though. Kyle predicted them to win, and we saw what happened with Nopic. So, you know, the Grim Reaper is at it again. I feel like either of these teams have a solid chance. It's the Kyle percentage here.
We'll see here. The Gatekeeper to the Gatekeepers, perhaps. He you know, Team Spirit might be the Gatekeeper, but Kyle is the key ring, isn't he?
Yes, he is indeed. And now we see an initiation as in usual Eastern European fashion. It's level 1. Let's go fight.
They're getting baited.
That's why we go into this game. There's the MP used. And okay. It seems like Empire is recognized in not true Eastern European fashion. They're the weaker level 1 team, so they're going to leave.
Yeah, they definitely...
That's a win. That's your own win.
The battle begins.
Sprays coming through the Among Us spray with a little heart from Kuman. You know what his favorite pastime is going to be then. As Vanscore is going to be looking to maybe get a bit aggressive. We've got wards here, yeah, so Rezo's going to be zoned a little bit away. He can't be able to block this creep wave, but it's not going to have the biggest impact for him at the end of the day. Zayats, though, yeah, he's got a ward here, so he's got to play it cool. As there's the D ward. Yep, he knows.
Nice. Well played. And then Vanscore's trying to block camps. He always does this, actually. I think Vanscore is the player I see blocking the Ancient Camp the most, honestly. I guess with TA it makes perfect sense, of course, but Vanscore did it last game with a Tusk a couple of times as well. He just denies the Ancients. Old school player playing with old school tricks. Doesn't like contesting the Ancients, just gets rid of them with a ward. I like it.
Yep. I think Celery or Aramis on Viking GG are very keen to do this as well. So, you know, but definitely in Eastern Europe, for sure, 100%. I see him do it quite a bit, looking to just reduce the efficiency of the TA's farm, delay those timings, and give yourself the best chance. There's already our first blast off. Bit more extra damage here to our Luna. Long silence, lots of damage, but of course very keen to get all this regen pumping, so Zayat's just making the best of his cooldowns.
Yeah. This lane shouldn't be too difficult for Empire with the Luna versus Axe. I think that's a decent matchup, but the Techies to me is... I mean, I don't know. Winter will tell me that Techie is the best hero ever in the lane, and I don't know if he's memeing me ever. He just smiles at me when I ask him, so I'm not sure. But I do think that... the Techies can be a pretty huge offset here, particularly for the Luna. The Clockwork is really good against Blast Stuff, though, because with Battery Assault, you can never get it off, so there's 1 point in favor of Clockwork 5 here.
Yep, and we can see Vanscore, yeah, looking to put some pressure there now. Level 2 early for Zayats. He's already got a couple of these proximity mines ready to go, trying to bait Vanscore into him. Vanscore, of course, knows that there's trouble in the trees, as Seiyu is going to come through ganking with a creep and find first blood onto Lil in the top lane.
No creep. It was just the impetus and damage.
Oh, wow.
Killing off the Luna. Yeah, it was just a long-range impetus and the help of the tornado. I mean, they used the creep in the beginning of the fight, but it was the impetus that eventually got the Lina. Like I said, it's a good matchup for Ench. Lina doesn't do much because you can't really deal with a creep when it's first hitting you, and later on when Enchanter is finishing you off, you don't have enough HP to blast her impetuses. Impeti?
Impeti?
So, I guess, no, right?
I don't know. Impeti? Who knows?
Yeah, so her spear things are pure damage spears. So that means that Lina does struggles against this combo. Even though Lina's good against Ench in the mid game for obvious reasons, because you get the untouchable, early it is an Ench lane for sure.
That Seiyu already with the Wild Ring Ripper, able to tank and deal with, get a good amount of farm in. I mean, it's not quite the jungle, and she'll come through eventually here and look to punish any ultra aggression coming through from HellRaisers. But the fact that you did get Petushara, not only his comfort hero, but also a really strong last pick. Timbersaw here means that he can definitely, you know, be a bit more independent. He's not going to require the Ench to be around too much longer, so she can look to get whatever this item is. Yeah, it looks like power treads into probably the Dragon Lance for extra damage here in the mid game for HellRaisers.
All right. Now, top lane is going well for Empire on this Timbersaw though, as expected, right? So you can have a bit of the freedom that we talked about for Petushara and the strength that he'll later be able to deal with the TA ideally. Because Timbersaw's a pretty solid pick against TA as long as you stack corrective armor before initiating on her.
Techies already, though, making it pretty impossible to contest the hard camp pulls, but he's actually blocked the count. Mid lane rotations coming through. Vanscore not going to be fast enough here, unfortunately, to get some cogs or even a battery assault onto Youngji. He's already safely underneath his tier 1 tower. Yep. The Press Kid with a good start has fallen off just a bit. Still 7 denies, but is falling a bit behind here. He's one wave behind in terms of last hits. Nothing too crazy here. We know he likes to recover by playing the rotation game, but again, that'll be a little bit more challenging this time around with all the Techies mines.
Yeah, that's true. So that's why I think the lane was a bit more important. So Youngji winning this is pretty major for HellRaisers. They're good at the area denial, right? However, I think you have the Empire draft with the Timbersaw that can fulfill that role regardless if the Press Kid can't rotate as much. So you're not entirely without options in the early game. And then the Timbersaw can easily net you an earn charge. You can gank bottom really easily, actually. And then you rotate. The only thing is that if you gank bottom as Radiant here, you take a really bad objective afterwards, so it's not that useful. But I feel like killing Rezo could be pretty interesting. Top lane, though, Kuman is equally as good as a kill, and it seems like he's going to try going for it. Magic Stick will save his life, though, and even with the creep, it's not going to be enough to kill off Radiant.
That's pretty scary, because that's not even Chakram, and we're already kind of just running down this Wraith King. He's got regen coming to him now, but he is struggling as there's the healing cell from Lil to keep him topped up and keep him fighting in this lane. But again, that's pretty scary because it's not really been, you know, the Enchantress helping out here too much. She's level 3. She's got 21 last hits of herself, nearly keeping pace with the Press Kid in the middle lane. Jungle Creeps, of course, worth much less. But regardless, you know, the point stands. It's Petushara here basically 1v2 in this top lane and doing a damn good job.
All right. And the Petushara will be the factor. Oh, actually, in terms of net worth, the TA seems to be below the Invoker, which I'm assuming is because she's gone for more jungle creeps than the Invoker. That's what the last hits are reflecting. Interesting. Okay. So the lane actually went better for the
Smiling
Knight.
Knight
Were initially
almost died to mines.
And now the creeps. There was no blast off ready to finish him off, but Zayats is coming in. The Press Kid knew this though, and blast off.
Oh, we got him!
Oh, he hit it. Zayats murdered Smiling Knight. Should have expected that. Resolution though dies to the Press Kid. That's good. The Press Kid have his urn, not yet, and he actually TPs away the tips as he tips Smiling Knight, and Resolution decides to tip him instead.
Suman's still level 4 here, approaching level 5. Big stun onto Seiyu. He might end up ticking down here. The Skeleton's giving chase. Seiyu using that natural move speed. Kuman is slower by 5, but unfortunately having to juke through the trees is going to end the life here of the deer. Petushara up to 6, though, should be able to continue applying pressure in this top tower. Underneath the top tower, I should say. Little with some good moves, though, at least avoiding a lot of the damage with the Timber Chain and Whirling Death is going to allow Kuman to pick up some farm in the mid lane, or sorry, underneath the tower in the meantime.
Yep. So Petushara, at least he's going to be able to put pressure this
way.
way.
Oh, what a tornado.
Press Kid. Nice tornado. Zayats could be the target, but again, you're lacking the urn charges plus cold snap, so you're not going to be able to kill him just yet. I don't think he has the urn finished up. He did try to initiate with a blast off, which got cancelled by a tornado, I believe.
Yep, that was huge. That was absolutely crucial there for Depressed Kid to live through that fight. or that little skirmish. Otherwise, he would be minced meat. His side blade's already level 2 and refraction level 4 would have meant that the TA can dive him a bit and be more aggressive than perhaps he's ready for at this stage.
All right, so we're starting out well, I would say, for Empire, all things considered, up against the Techies. You haven't been denied too much of the map just yet. You got some decent lanes out. Petushar is up, sorry. So the only thing is, I mean, even Depresskid, I think, is quite happy with his lane against the TA. You're forcing her to recover already in Ancients.
Say
And now it's where the Sentry, and this is where the Sentry, by the way, is going to come into play in the triangle. They have no Ancients right now. So TA can't recover.
But yeah, we didn't have the opportunity to stack. Something that Techies can do rather easily with his really, really generous attack range. Empire, in the meantime, looking to apply some pressure into the mid lane. Seiyu able to chip in a bit of damage and has a Stompy creep on the way on over. Young G not taking any damage, but the fraction charge is a bit low now. Good call here into the War Stomp. The Blast Off, not enough damage here at level 1 to get through the tanky Clockwork, so he's going to be able to get back up to the high ground and live another day. Good work done there.
Top tower is under attack.
Yep. Staving off the aggression from Empire, who's definitely looking for kills wherever they can find them. Nope, talk about aggression. Seiyu, taking a stroll through the forest, finds 2 angry people who want to kill him. One of them, which is a king, Seiyu. Actually saved by Tornado? No. Last hit by Lil will do the trick. That's a level 4 Enchantress who desperately needs the untouchable if she wants to go for those aggressive plays.
Yep, and this is a game where Depresskid is going to have to deviate from his preferred build. We can see he's already queued up the Witchblade. It's actually going to be nice for a secondary thing, which is going to be that increased projectile speed that you do get, because he does struggle to actually kill these blast-off mines if they're a bit farther away from him, as we just saw. He did get hit by one of the mines on the way back out. Not too big of a deal. You know, he's building it obviously for the damage to get through the refraction charge of the TA primarily, but that is just something nice that I'll mention because we have a Techies in the game.
Sure. Yeah, we have to concentrate on the Techies, of course.
Of course.
Otherwise, Slacks comes by and he removes us from the tower.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. I think it's fair. I think he deserves to do that, honestly. I like that Zayats is going for the mine build immediately as well. The proximity mines, because if you set to go for the blast off, you kind of have to play more aggressively. The area denial we talked about is not immediately impactful, and with the stasis trap plus the remote mines, or sorry, plus the proximity mines, you're capable of starting to set up your empire of mines already against Team Empire, rather than and make this life hell for them, rather than trying to be aggressive with a team that's not really well suited for this early game aggression.
And there's Vanscore, yeah, immediately struggling. They're not just an Empire mines, they're like mine magnets, aren't they? Because we've got TA psionic traps, which are also super annoying. There's Depresskid at least able to get rid of one of the mines. So they're doing a good job of making sure he can't just constantly build up and bolster these areas. Even Petushar with a deep ward and taking jungle creeps away from Young G and both the Wraith King is making life rather difficult. So seems like they're definitely prepared to play against this Techies.
Alright, Alina, talking the EMP, Lil. Just a 5, but a kill nonetheless for Empire. They want a more valuable one. Zayats, who denies himself. This man is just about not letting you have fun, honestly. Empire not getting the second kill on the support, but if it turns into a tower, it's fine. However, they lose Smiley Knight in the bottom lane as Kuman rotated. This might be just a tower trade in addition to your carry dying. Not a bad response by HellRaisers.
Yeah, it is their mid-tier 1 going down, which makes now the Techies game a little bit more difficult to play because they can just go through the mid lane instead of having to take these dangerous staircases without vision into the mines. Petushar will rotate down bottom, but he's a bit too late to stop the push. So good job focusing here on clearing the Techies issue in the early game. But now HellRaisers, of course, they still have options to make this one work. And we've yet to see, of course, the remote mines come into play now, which now at level 6, Zayats can begin placing and setting some pretty devious and mischievous traps. A very, very challenging game here, both for Empire playing around those, as well as for our Observer to catch all of those.
Yeah, indeed. Zayats, there's the cold snap. Wants the help of the creep, and Zayats is going to fall. That mine will only hit the creep, so... They have ways to demine with the creeps. Yeah.
That's Witchblade done too for Depresskid, so he's already putting that to good use. Tornado to try and catch Lil. Not going to be there in time.
Yeah. I feel like wait, Rezo? No, not yet. I feel like if you're the creeps in the Dota map, the scariest game to ever play is when Enchantress decides to play against the Techies. Feels like a very scary version of a Hurt Locker.
shot into the mid lane. Rezo, he can't even get off the call here because of the battery assaults and the cold snap alike. Finally, we'll get the bonus armor. A nice silence here onto 2 from Zayat. And there's the dunk from Rezo onto Vanscore. Petushara is here trying to secure some follow-up kills. At least is able to sweep up Zayat's there with the Whirling Death. But in Defiance, that barrier immediately bursted through by the couple of mines that Zayat's had remaining. And it is going to be a 1-for-1 trade here off the back of that hook shot. Again, Empire
Nice,
still
okay.
continuing to just play in the enemy map and deny the Techies the opportunity to set up these mines.
But a pretty solid, pretty solid pick off by Empire. And again, they have still pretty decent ways of dealing with the mines just yet. While Kuman has not been able to match up to the Luna just yet in terms of farm, the Mascabaz is going to help Luna get even further away. So Empire for now not too bothered, it seems, by this match. In fact, they're going to continue going forward, trying to find Lil, but the Shara knowing that's a bit too far away. I'm liking Petushara's Timbersaw in general, though. He's been a big driving force behind Empire's wins. And now with Kuman, if they can get this kill, this proves the point even further. The EMP will hit. Kuman can't get away, and the EMP will take them on at the same time as it kills poor Kuman.
So far, so good for Empire, as they might even be able to collect the +1 onto Zayat. The hookshot will guarantee just that, making sure he does not get the chance to blast off and save himself. In fact, Young G needs to try and save himself now. Will choose battle, but he's going to fall quite low. Sunstrike only level 2 make it. Oh, it's not going to be enough damage. In fact, Refraction's up in time. Petushara's here. Will burst right through it. Get the kill with a right click. Depressed Kid was in a bit of danger as Rezo and Lil alike were both there on top of them, but not enough damage here between the two. And in fact, Petushara going even more aggressively. Lil trying to get into Timber Chain into the proximity mines. It's not going to be enough damage. They have at least stunned up Depressed Kid. They've got a couple of mines here ready to go, and the blast off from Zayat into the call from Rezo. One more mine allows for the dunk. Petushara has a soul ring. It's not a really long Timber Chain away, but he's got another one ready in 2 more seconds. And yeah, he is just too difficult of a kill here right now for HellRaisers. It's still a bad sequence of events for HellRaisers at the end of the day. I'm just hyped about the Techies doing things around the map. You still lose Kuman top. You lose your mid laner in the river, and you only get the Invoker out from that. So it's still looking pretty bad here for HellRaisers.
I'm glad you commented on that, because, you know, sometimes the hype this gets a bit out of control when there's a Techies in the game. You just get excited about this hero, I'm not gonna lie. He's quite literally an explosive hero. So in the case of Empire, you do lose the Invoker, which is a big deal, but as long as Petushara continues to just be their space controller, or space creator, sorry, I don't think it matters, as you mentioned. Which is why HellRaisers have found the way to deal with him, which is kill him. Let's see if they can do so. Petushara is quite tanky. They go in the blast off, EMP as well to protect him a bit. And Petushara just kills Zayat without doing anything. He's gonna get away! Petushara is unkillable right now, and HellRaisers just realized that. They actually lost Techies just to Petushara existing. He didn't even do much. It was just the EMP and him going away with the Timber Chain.
I'm pretty sure that was the dunk as well wasn't going to be enough damage. What Rezo is what? Yeah, that's a level 1 Culling Blade. So I think he was still hovering around 300-ish HP. So even if the dunk does come through, it wouldn't have been enough damage, unfortunately. Plus it's magic, and he did have that hood barrier up, so that was going to prevent the immediate kill anyway. Kuman at least avoiding the tornado. EMP is not yet ready. Hookshot, though, is available, as now Vanscore in a bit of a rough spot. Throws down the cogs to make sure he can't get going on here. EMP as well will cover his retreat. The Skeletons, though, as fearless as ever. Oh, no, they don't do anything. They're dead.
That's fine. Still a 4K lead for Empire. With that win, I would say, by the Timbersaw just surviving, I think HellRaisers will now have to think twice about these engagements. They might just wait out for the TA to get her big item timings. So you can continue. They see mines. The Press Kid is testing them. Oh no, the Press Kid! He got caught with the Berserker's Call. Too busy de-mining, and instead he's going to die. And they actually destroy the tree with a blast off. So Petushara can now come and help him. Second attempt against Petushara's life. We've seen how this goes. So maybe, yeah, just let him go. Vanscore, easier target. Battery Assault stops the Berserker's Call from coming out in time. Resolution wants to get away. He's not going to be killed either. HellRaisers starting to utilize these mines to get some kills around the map.
And that's what I was exactly talking about, right? Invoker, he wants to be ghost walking around these maps, setting up kills, getting the Cold Snap Urn charges out immediately, in addition to the Witchblade for some damage and some kills. with the mines up, it's just like, what do we do against this? Zayat's immediately resetting up these traps to make sure that any further invader or any further incursions from Empire will end up in similar will end up in a similar fashion rather. So it's you know, he's still doing a good job of recovering here. He's not just, you know, your pub techies who's immediately, you know, lost his tower and he starts mining the base AFK. He's still in here for these kills.
Yeah, it's true. He has to be very aggressive. That's how you have to play this game, or the tech is around the map, especially with the draft that's now starting to come online with the Axe and the TA hitting their power spikes. You need to be able to get kills off this, otherwise the Luna might just be able to farm out of control. It's going to be very difficult for Kuman to be able to match Smiling Knight's farm this game, just due to the nature of the heroes. And the Mask of Madness just adds insult to injury when it comes to this regard. So Kuman looking for the Blink Dagger Armlet instead to be a more aggressive Wraith King, taking advantage of the tempo that he provides, and also the fact that he could just jump the Luna, force the Eclipse, die, and be fine with it.
I want to say this is the third game in a row for Smiling Knight Luna. Is that correct? Or was it Kuman that played the Luna first game? Because either way, it's the same build for game 2 as it is in game 3.
Right? No, last game it was HellRaisers playing the Luna.
Good point. But he's going for the same build Kuman went. Thank you for correcting me on that. Because I remember first game it was a Manta first, I want to say, for the Luna after the Dragonlance. But Mask of Madness, just being the farming item, knowing that, hey, my team is going to have to play, you know, Minesweeper over here. Meanwhile, I'll just be hitting Farm Simulator. Good counter initiation, though, onto Depressed Kid. He does not have Ghost Walk yet, ready to go. In fact, turning for the Ice Wall. Kuman's in, though. There's Zayat with a nice blast off, only catching and silencing the Invoker. And Smiling Knight showing up with a level 2 Eclipse at the ready, but they don't even need it. They blow through Rezo Zayats by just losing Van Score here in the meantime. SeekNStrike to try and find a kill or just checking for a D-ward. But HellRaisers, they're still finding that Empire are more than willing to play into these Techies' minds and even coming out of it with some, you know, a nice kill advantage.
Petushar is still too scary, man. Last big Timber Saw is a threat. And I don't know if HellRaisers can deal with this, but I mean, if you had like a Spirit Vessel carrier or something, but your whole team sucks like an item, right? So maybe a Shiva's on the Axe or something.
Lena's almost got one though.
Okay, that's major. Little right deviation, I would argue. Zayat is going to die. Here comes Young G. Okay, Petushara actually seemed like you could kill him this time, but instead the man's going to die as the Wraith. He does have a second life though. Kuman. No, never mind. He didn't have the mana for the second life, so he's going to die instead. Van Score falling to the grave. They also got rid of Lil, and the Eclipse now used will tear through Young G. As Resolution, hoping to get back home in one piece, and he's going to achieve that just barely, as the Depressed Kid thought twice about going against him.
Yeah, he was quite literally 6 mana short. I know, you know, he's got those 6 wand charges, so I know people are going to want to say, what is it? Wassive Pond, but no, it was on cooldown for like 6 seconds or something when he died. He popped it early in the fight and didn't have it later. So very unfortunate. Empire off the back of this, easily able to go into Roshan as well with Techies not able to have any mines set up in the vicinity. So it's a huge win here for Empire, who now are going to be even emboldened with this Aegis to even, you know, go pushing in where there might be plenty of Techies mines.
Yeah. I mean, that's an option that HellRaiser has. Just play the complete defensive Techies right now, because I think it's the moment to stop trying to be aggressive, perhaps. Or, I don't know, you have the Vessel you mentioned, the Lena soon coming up. So that's going to give you an option to actually be able to fight this. Is this the trap with the items? Once you get the Vessel, I feel like that's the turning point maybe for HellRaisers, as all the other power spikes they theoretically have on their heroes have been completely useless and nullified by Petushara's existence, and now the Eclipse.
We don't have very long though.
He's gonna die. The mines don't really matter here. He doesn't have enough time to set up the mines now, so the incredible area denial we hyped up so much is not really working out for Zayat, as he's constantly having to go with his team, create space, and even engage in fights that he might not want to be in.
No, exactly, and something we neglected to mention that is now starting to come into play are these Smiling Knight Manta-style illusions that are also very capable of clearing mines or just tanking them. You know, you don't really care if you end up losing the Manta illusions. You've got plenty of pushing power. HellRaisers don't have really the tools to stop you at this stage of the game. So yeah, Manta, you know, use it for the Dispel, use it to clear mines, just as valuable for both. Bottom, they're trying to set up for a kill. It's just Petushara showing, and this is what I was about to say. Vessel may be online. It's not even going to be that soon, unfortunately. We're still at 700 gold away from the Fit Booster to complete it, and I still think the recipe as Depressed Kid with a 2-man tornado. He might go dive in here for Zayat. SeekNStrike is going to collect the kill.
Wow. He is so strong right now, depressed kid. He loves that line. He just decimates Techies constantly. You're playing with one hero less already in the existence of Techies in the fights, right? He's more of the, well, area denial hero we talked about. And those mines are also getting demined constantly by those enchantress creeps. Sacrificing their lives to the common good.
Yeah, Luna already with the shard here so that she's purchased, making life difficult, canceling the blink daggers from Axe constantly. I don't know how we defend these top lane of barracks. The Young G's refraction doors are already down. Kuman with the armlet trying to get in here with the fights, having this blink dagger, trying to enable his team, but just can't seem to find the opening here versus Team Empire. Everyone ready to counter initiate, just leaving Luna on the high ground with Aegis to completely demolish the top lane of barracks.
Now Kuman, you're thinking of going against him. He's actually
Got
a
him again.
valuable kill, an easy kill with a hook shot apparently. Kuman, they were probably not expecting them to play that aggressively on Empire and rotate immediately, but you just gave him a freebie now. And we've been talking a lot about how this Wraith King did not go for a build to recover. Oh, they lost a U, not a big deal. Now they can go and initiate
the call.
Perhaps, so you gone. Let's see, the call is pretty major, and they get the press kit. That's a big deal, but Smaya still has the Eclipse. Is gonna send all of HellRaisers running away as they murder Resolution. He does lose his first life though. That's just the Aegis, not that big a deal. You did get the offlane as a result. 2 minutes left on the Aegis, so yeah, HellRaisers will be pretty satisfied with that, at least to stave off the aggression from Empire. But it's looking more and more dire, or more and more radiant rather, as this game goes on, because the Wraith King has no way to recover and match the Luna. It's all up to Young G to be the win condition.
I think that this is pretty huge, though, for HellRaisers. If they don't get that sequence of events going, I mean, that's essentially a 4v5 that they end up winning because of Techies mines, right? Because Kuman was dead to start that engagement. So it's pretty big for HellRaisers. They're still in this game. 10k down, yes. Luna with a good core-to-core, yes. But you know, this is the first step. You know, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, Alvaro, and that was just the first step towards recovery here for HellRaisers. We need a lot more. But now that Techies has a bit of breathing room, now that he can plant a couple of mines, this is how we get the snowball rolling.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, I don't know. That snowball better roll fast though, because Empire has a snow cleaner.
True, Kuman. He might just walk into a 3-man gank, and in fact he is. All right, and well, they burst him too fast before EMP can come through.
That's not better though, because now
they'll be able to do it again just as easily on the second life. Down he goes.
Oh no! This game, Wraith King wishes he could just lose his mana faster. That's not great. I don't know what the idea there was. I guess trying to go for the unsafe farm to open up for your TA and your Wraith King, so you have 2 lives, so you can afford to do that. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, he's got this ward in the jungle, right? So he's like, well, if someone's in their jungle, I'll know about it. But he wasn't just expecting 3 enemy heroes ready to gank him as he walked up the staircase. Didn't, in fact, ever make it up the staircase, mind you. Petishar was just so eager to get in there and kill him. And now Petishar, by the way, has the Lotus Orb. So this, yeah, we're not even going to finish the urn at this stage, or finish the vessel, rather. Lil's like, well, what's the point now? He'll just dispel it from himself. I guess we're never killing this guy.
Yep. Tell me someone saw that. It's tough. It's tough for HellRaisers. I mean, all they could do is to delay the game endlessly. Luckily for them, they have a Techie, so maybe that's the option here, as TA starts to recover farm, slowly but steadily. Have to open up the map a bit though, but it's so difficult. So maybe just turtle and base endlessly. I just feel like you have a good team to deal with that though right now.
Yeah.
With the Rocket Flare, the Enchantress creep as well. Eventually, I'm assuming you get BKB on Spawning Ignite, and then you just go in regardless of remote lines.
Radiant are scanning.
Yeah, that's a bit scary, but you could do it. I mean, you got a great hero, great couple of heroes. So just, yeah, there's the rocket or the hook shot just missing. Rocket Flare will scout at least Rezo. Okay, they've got Vanscore. He walked into the mines. That's gonna get one component closer now for Zayats and his Aghanim Scepter. So again, we're getting there. As Petishar goes, oh, that's right, I can't cut down the trees. My bad. Let's make sure that doesn't happen to you again. It's still plausible though. It's still plausible. Depressed Kid nearly got himself killed to a stack of mines earlier, so that's why he started pinging sorry, and a couple of voice lines came out. But Empire definitely recognizing, hey, it's game 3. We're strong. Let's stay strong. We could just afford to slow roll this, send Luna back to continue farming everything that exists on the map. Just make sure she's tanky enough to keep herself alive. And eventually these mines won't be anything but, you know, a little bit of a splinter in our toes as we crush these guys.
Right, yeah, that's the problem. You know, if you are at least, well, if you had at least like a really good core-to-core towards the late game, I would maybe give him a bit more chance with how the situation is going.
Press kit.
You can't turtle for a while.
You got him with
Nice
the taunt.
4-step though. I think you should still die here with the damage for the TA. Yeah, the press kit is stuck, and he's going to fall.
Big death.
Good kill for HellRaisers. Big death, I agree. Can they turn this into an objective or even another team fight? That would be ideal situation for HellRaisers. Even more mines around the map would be good, so you can recover some space.
That's a legitimate objective. I know the traditional objectives are Roche, tier 1s, etc., outposts even now as we see Empire claim control over this dire outpost. But for now, it's setting up vision, setting up mines, and looking to just reinforce this area. You're very much playing a sort of castle kind of gameplay here on you know, if you compare it to Rainbow Six or something like that. We need to build these fortifications and make sure if Empire are going to, you know, go diving against you that it's in dangerous shark and mine infested waters.
Yeah. Because that allows you to get farm on your 3 cores, ideally, not just the trickling farm that's coming into your base, right? So I think that I agree. That's a genuine objective. It's what you need to do to recover here for HellRaisers. And maybe then, if you get to a late game with 2 cores, the idea is you can just beat Luna with that. Hell, you can even use the axe, right, as a tertiary core and actually deviate into the Manta style build at some point in this game, depending on how long this goes.
Oh, they got the TA.
But with this, yeah, this could be concerning. Young G, eh? They try to burst him down. Young G wants to fight the snow, but realize this mine might be a bit too tough. Instead, they're going to sacrifice Resolution. And they're going to retreat in time. Mines won't really matter here for Empire, who just got a valuable kill on
like,
the
oh no, don't chase me.
Well. Well, I don't think they can kill him, you know. They have to go up to the high ground.
Oh.
Okay, those mines, no! No!
Oh, no.
The mine surprise! Oh, the tip. That tip must hurt your Zayats.
Oh no. That is pain. That is pain. I know for a lot of people that's going to be so cathartic, you know. For you know, the Na'Vi players, they just have a little bit of Schadenfreude now, you know. But it still hurts to see that for Zayats. That is just probably 2 minutes of work there. There was like 8 or 9 mines that went off there. At least he's not killed by the Sunstrike. He's going to dodge that one. The press kid, even with the preemptive voice lines, premature celebration, but they've got cause to celebrate regardless. Tier 2 tower taken down, so now it's just going to be the final gauntlet here. The high ground standing between a Team Empire and Team Spirit going in that best of 5 qualification match for TI.
Yeah, it's looking very, very difficult for HellRaisers, because especially when you throw those mines down, or when those explode, if you count the explosions, which you can definitely do with the sounds, or how loud the sound is, then you can know that the Techies has wasted a certain amount of time in those areas. It seems like Empire is very, very well versed against the Techies. So they should know about these kind of little tricks where you can calculate more or less what Techies has been doing, and in turn play a little bit more aggressively, force more fights, go a bit far ahead. You're not too worried about him right now. Just wait for the Roshan as well. That Aegis will give you even more flexibility against the mines, and then you probably go high ground.
We've got eggs. We've got eggs for Techies, right? He does have it, so these mines now doing a lot more damage. He's still only level, 14, so he's got level 2 remote mines, but the eggs at least does buff him to essentially level 18 here. So that's at least something that's nice for him, but we are just tanking up now on the Timber Saw. I don't even know if you kill him with that big stack of mines, to be honest. But, you know, with those stack expiring soon, I could definitely see the need just to try and use it anyway. Roche is up in 30 seconds. Smiling Knight, very content to just wait for him, send illusions into the farm to jungle, and, you know, they just know it's all about this second Roche for them here. They'll be able to take it, go up high ground without really fearing the mines too much, and get ready for Team Spirit. I think that's already what's on their mind.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to discount HellRaisers just yet. It's a Techies game. Anything can happen. Like, this guy is kind of here like an endlessly elongated game. We might be able to get to 60 minutes. Maybe you get a tier 3 item that gets you back, or sorry, tier 4 item that gets you back in, tier 5, and you completely win the game. Who knows, Richie, right? Anything can happen in the Techies Wonderland.
Anything could happen, we'll see. The eggs is, again, it's the second step towards that 1,000-mile journey, but we're only merely 2 steps into this mild, to this very, not mild, but in fact very arduous journey here. The traps, though, everything's getting set up. Zai is preparing to defend the base with everything he's got. As, well, it's going to come down to this. Again, we get up to high ground pretty decently. Petushar are able to ignore the stairwells. Vanscore as well, although a one-way trip with the hook shot. 4 staves on the team here to get Smiling Knight out of a bad spot if they deem it necessary. It's looking pretty good. They're going to smoke up now as they look to push down in the bottom lane. Zayat's had more mines in the mid lane at the ready, as of course there's the illusions. Yep, getting through the mines already. Rezo trying to bring Petushar up to the high ground. Young G is not going to be able to look for an initiation, and Rezo's just deleted. He's dead for a minute, doesn't have buyback, couldn't get the BKB off even, Avo. Is they're even getting tower damage in by hitting these mines? Oh, the minefield sign is up, but it's, now they're just going to go mid. Longest cooldown in the game.
Yep, SeekNStrike to detect the mines. As for vision, now the illusions, even if they tried to scrape with the force spirits, Blind Knight, okay, they forced him. That was good. They got his Aegis, but that's what the Aegis is for anyway. Hookshot, no more mines for you as Zayat falls. I'm going to continue pushing these towers. Blind Knight is not too concerned. They can only pull that off once and need a while to set up the mines again. Young G is trying to defend best he can, but these racks seem like they're going to be destroyed.
Yeah, these are not lasting very long here whatsoever. And in fact, Empire, that's going straight for the tier 4s. Free kill onto the Lina. Thank you very much. 3 heroes dead as the GG well played will come out from Zayat himself, the master tier Techies, unfortunately, and the rest of HellRaisers, who have really developed as a team since their first season in lower division. Getting the 6-1 finish there, getting all the way to 3rd place, will just fall short to Team Empire in game number 3.
Yeah, congratulations to HellRaisers for the hard work until now. I think they surprised a lot of people and they played incredible Dota. Yeah, they're just a team to be reckoned with. But Empire played a little bit better. I think they had a strategy really prepared for the Techies. The Clockwork Enchantress were just a huge detriment to the poor guy. And this might have been too greedy a strat. I don't know. There was a couple of inconsistencies or lack of cohesion in how HellRaisers was playing, both optimization and playstyle, that might have hurt them a bit more than helped them. We can talk about this in the post-game panel, as Dan Often will join us for that wonderful ordeal.